Folks, I got another trick tutorial for you today. This time we're going to be looking at flips. I know what you're thinking. I already know how to do flips. Thanks very much. Yeah, I know. We're going to be looking at ways to dress up such a basic move. So it's kind of like the musical exercise you do where you play a scale or an arpeggio, but you try and mix up the timing. You try and just take the simplest possible thing and make it really interesting. And there's a whole lot of ways to make flips really interesting. So I've given you in this video the stick overlay so you can see what my sticks are doing, and I know a lot of you are going to find that useful, but basically what my sticks are doing is I'm raising the throttle and then I'm pitching forward or pitching back. And the timing of that may be useful to some of you, but I think you should watch the full speed playbacks that I've given you to just look at the timing of the move. Am I doing a half back flip freeze followed by a half front flip freeze? Or is it a slow half back flip followed by a fast 360 followed by a slow half back flip, right? The timing of the moves and where the pauses, the speed ups, and the slowdowns are what makes these moves really interesting. I will say that if you're not comfortable being inverted and telling how high you are above the ground while you're inverted and then flipping back over again before you hit the ground, you may want to practice that before you start doing the moves you see here. Especially some of the moves where you're doing multiple flips, you're not going to be looking at the ground very much for most of the move because you're going to be flipping quickly, and you need a sort of a second sense, sixth sense. How many senses are there? You need a sense of how long you've got before you hit the ground and when you need to really sort of be turning back over again, even if you can't necessarily see how high you are. With that all said, let's go ahead and get into it. I'll give you some voiceover tips where I think they're handy, but mostly I'm just going to let you watch the moves. I've given you each move at full speed and then at half speed, and as always, you can use the YouTube speed options to change the speed if you think that's useful for you. One final thing is that there's no audio for this. I actually didn't intend to turn this into a tutorial. I just said, forget it. I'm just going to go out and I'm going to fly and, have some fun. And when it was done, I had so much cool footage. I thought, well, I got to make a tutorial out of this. So there's no audio. I'll put some music on so you got something to listen to. And with that said, let's get into it. The first move we're going to look at, I'm calling the half flip look back float. This is a move where you flip either forward or backwards. You'll see me do it both ways. And you freeze while looking back at the horizon. Sometimes I do a sort of a sharp stop. Sometimes I just slow down a little bit. You'll see me do it many different ways. You just take a look and see which one you think looks the best. I really like in this one how the ground just sort of recedes away from me. I get a big punch out upwards before flipping over and looking backwards, and then carry that momentum up. You'll see me work on this more as the session proceeds. I feel like in this one I didn't get enough upwards momentum before I flipped over. I needed maybe more of a throttle punch so that by the time I'm looking back at the horizon, I'm already starting to fall downwards. I do it again in the next one. Watch for it. At the moment that I'm looking back at the horizon, I'm almost falling, and I don't get that ground receding away from you backwards effect that's so cool. Now we're going to look at variants on the 720 backflip. That's a double backflip, and basically sometimes I do a half backflip, then a full flip, then another half backflip, Sometimes I go half back, forward flip, back flip, just mixing it up all sorts of ways. I also play a lot with the speed, sometimes going slow, slow, sometimes going fast, slow, fast, etc. Hopefully this just inspires you to go out and play. This is not a complicated move, just a whole lot of different ways of mixing it up. Hopefully it inspires you to do the same. One of the most important things I think about an acro move is ending the move smoothly and in control. And for flips, I find that it's not always easy for me to end the flip quickly, sharply, exactly at the right attitude. I may end the flip with the horizon perfectly level, but actually what I want is to be pitched forward a little bit and flying out of it. So a lot of times, see, I overshot there. A lot of times when you see me do these moves, you'll see that the last maybe quarter turn of the flip, I actually gradually slow down. And that's me sort of cheating to try and end it at precisely the right angle, even if I don't end it with exactly a sharp stop. Now here's just some freestyle acro flying, incorporating many of these tricks. And I don't really know what the hell I was doing here. I just, the most creative stuff happens after you get bored. I just started doing weird stuff. So enjoy, but this is not really part of the lesson.